Well, one question this day came in, and it was something like some people got a bit toxic on a forum, and it was something like, can nature actually make mistakes? Because I see quite a lot in here, or something like that. I don't know. People can tend to get, emotionally eruptive sooner or later. See, the question is, does nature do mistakes? See, in order for nature to do mistakes, first of all, you're personifying nature. You're taking nature as someone or something, right? As an entity or something with a certain level of awareness, right? I mean, even something without awareness may probably make mistakes. But mistake is interpretable here because question B, what is a mistake, right? When you're feeling extremely low and you're having unhealthy expectations, see, you're trying to achieve something and it doesn't work, or you simply cannot reach those unhealthy expectations. Now you're feeling much as a mistake. But mistake is a piece of meaning that obviously you have taken from the outside, and definitely you've taken from toxic people or people who don't have a good opinion about themselves. As a good quote would say, if you want to have a good opinion about yourself, make sure there aren't idiots around you. See, probably if wandering on the internet and playing online games, especially those, well, competitive ones, a lot of people can end up being quite toxic, or, well, they may be very frustrated or pissed off. See, they might call you ultimately a genetical failure or a nature's failure or whatever. See, nature doesn't ever make mistakes. But first of all, stop personifying nature, because in order to make a mistake, you need to have a certain level of awareness and do things, right? Nature isn't the one that isn't something that, creates things based on a certain awareness. Okay, it is not something that we may call a consciousness. Okay, it is creation. Creation is a bit beyond that, as of what I feel. Now, honestly, it can be interpreted, but consciousness is a part of creation, okay? In this physical world, I mean, at this level of dimensions, because consciousness is obviously beyond physicality as well. But in this place, something that can create out of thin air, do you think they need much of a human related consciousness? Because if we are to think a bit, there are thousands of forces that led to the creation of this universe. Not just one, as religion says, but in a very superficial way, religion is kind of right. It doesn't say there are thousands of forces, it just condenses and, coalesces them into a single one, but ultimately, it has created this vastness that there is. A lot of superficial people cannot perceive beyond the sky and beyond what they hear, what they feel, what they smell, so they will think that everything is superficial. When you're feeling alone, you're gonna end up sooner or later being entitled to attention and also a bit too attached to who and what you think you are. This is a bit like becoming, a bit narcissistic in a way. Now, nature never does mistakes, because if it can create this whole existence, obviously you're not a mistake. Sure, you're free to think that you are, because psychologically, well, it's all about meaning, right? Everything is meaning in the psychological part, I mean. It is just meaning. And when you become attached to it, yes, it can become hard to shake it off, because attachment means it is now part of your system. It is part of your system. It means, well, it is like your own energy. You are simply blind to it. You cannot distinguish it from you now. And, it's like a cell from your own body, an organ or whatever. Worse than that, if you remove it, it feels like you're removing a part of yourself, so it will feel as if you're gonna cause yourself so much pain. Why do I mean that nature doesn't create any mistakes? See, nature is, you can take it as the coding behind any video game or any application that you may know and use each and every day. All the machines use a code to function. But if you look at things, see, everything has a code of its own. Even inanimate objects, they have a code of their own. If you look at a molecular level, you will see that their atoms, their molecules, and even the particles which are smaller than that, often and constantly pendulate from existence into inexistence. You will see that they exist, they simply don't exist anymore, and something else comes back in. So it's a constant moving back and forth into creation, sliding back into the non-creation, and then coming back in. This is a great magic if you think of it, because something slides out of existence and comes back into existence. That is something phenomenal, if one may ask. It is a humongous capability of those small little particles, and it happens with all objects around you. And even if you look at them, well, when you look at them, they might look as if they are the same each and every day. But I assure you, if you look at a very low level, they are going through changes each and every day, each and every second, actually, or probably even faster than that. When it comes to animate objects, see, animate objects aren't in any way different, right? They have the same function. Yes, they have far more complex functions than inanimate objects. And there is also that piece of life within them. It is awareness, right? Or whatever you may call it. That is the piece of life within them. Inanimate objects also have a piece of life. It's just that, we can call it different in a way. And, they don't move around and the such. But life exists into them as well. They have feminine energy, they have masculine energy. All objects in this world function in the such. Now, don't take these as genders, because these are, let's say, tendencies through which life takes form and action into the world, okay? Feminine and masculine energies aren't necessarily woman and man, okay? They may represent themselves through the particular gender more, but it doesn't mean necessarily that they are that. So when it comes to nature, see, a lot of people suffer from all of these illusions that they are having depression, or they are having cancer, or they are having all sorts of things. Now, I do not wish any of these upon people, but I have to remind people that they are not getting suddenly depressed, they are not suddenly getting cancer. It is just then that they became aware of that. But what they are not aware is that they have been meticulously working throughout their life towards that. You don't get cancer out of a sudden. Hundreds and thousands of such events happen into your body each and every day, right? There are cancerous cells growing each and every day into your body, but your body is competent of that, and it is highly capable of simply dealing with those each and every time, right? And this little crime rate that you may call, right, these rogue cells are everywhere. The only problem is you may help them with the unhealthy lifestyle that you have, and especially with the bad opinions that you have about yourself. And when some of those rogue cells happen to coalesce, there's more of them in a close proximity, and they start growing into something, well, that is what a cancerous formation is, and your body may simply no longer be capable of containing it, right? That is how cancer starts growing, and obviously it can go out of control. But hundreds or thousands of such events happen into your body daily, and you're not aware of those because, well, no one taught you that your body actually performs a lot of things so that you can live your life the way you do. So you could actually thank your body each and every day you go to bed, because you never know if you'll wake up tomorrow. But even if you will, even if you don't, your physical body is doing a lot of things for you. So if you think that you're a failure, see, a failure or a genetical failure or a bad experiment or whatever thing people may call you. See, it is your parents who give you the DNA that you have. The DNA quality that every human has is given by their parents, right? So nature never does any mistakes, especially with us humans. In many cases actually, it is just that some humans have a simply lower vibration and a poorer quality of DNA. So the very simple point is, the children that they have, they will be of a lower quality as well. Calling them a genetical failure is not the best way to describe life. It just shows you don't have enough sensitivity towards life. But it is just that nature wasn't given the proper tools or good tools, let's say. But nature is just like a creation machine, right? You give it any tools, it will create something out of it, right? You give it low quality materials, well, it will create something which is somewhat lower quality. You give it more advanced quality, well, it will simply embrace that and create something of a greater quality. This is easily, for example, decided by women. If women take great care of their body, if women take care of themselves and, well, their body is healthy, they can invite greater quality of life into their body to become their child, right? So as this goes, well, the very simple point is the opposite is also true, because if she mistreats her body, well, she will invite a corresponding life force, one who has been also mistreated in previous lifetimes, or, well, one which ultimately seeks that. Because if you give birth to a child and you are abused, well, obviously your child will gain your karma as well. If they also come with such karma, well, the very simple point is, well, they will always have at least a bit of that, because karma always seeks to dissipate, to get freed from itself, right? It always seeks to become one with creation. All thoughts, all manifestations that are incomplete will seek to become one with creation. So in a way, karma is not complete or incomplete, but actually karma can be incomplete, because karma means a cycle. And as it repeats, it needs to become complete. It reaches a certain situation where it breaks and it starts all over. That's technically an incomplete cycle. So karma wants to become a complete cycle. And every time you allow it to become a complete cycle, it will start fading slower and slower. Basically, it will become almost part of creation, because as long as you exist, your karma will simply still exist. It will be there in a very weak and faint form. If you slip back into unconsciousness, it will try to come back to you, right? So all of these factors, they're always working there. You're not aware of those. But see, for people it is easy to spew words around and not have any bit of brain used when they do that, right? But just remember, there is no such thing as genetical failures, okay? If you as humans want to create life by replicating DNA and playing with it, that may result in a way in a genetical failure, because you're forgetting that life is not just the DNA that you're playing with. Life has so many more variables. So that is why your experiments with DNA will fail and will feel like genetical failures, okay? You're forgetting that life and consciousness are things that they're not palpable. They're not something that you can replicate. They're not something that you can touch. There are things, well, they're not even things, because a thing is something physical. This go beyond physicality, okay? So these are not things to be toyed with. If you think you can replicate God's work, but you're just a human, well, it doesn't matter that you're a human or not. You're a perfect creation. But if you want to replicate creation with primitive tools, don't be surprised that you end up with something very primitive, right? And primitive things may even break, because not understanding the complexity of what life is, well, you're not going to be able to replicate it either. Why would you need to replicate life? Because ultimately, life creates itself, and if you see, it simply exists in all possible places of the cosmos, even if they are not, well, sustainable of us, right? They are not supporting of our life, and they cannot support our existence. Well, it will support life in any other way, right? This being said, hopefully this video raised a bit of awareness. You are appreciated. Take care, and, well, feel free to view any other content on the channel. Take care. Ferencan Bohort signing out.